to say, perhaps I shouldn't be too formal, but on the other hand, welcome to our distinguished guests, you know, for the Rotary and all that, but also to all these students. And the students have shown us something this morning that many of us would not have done when we were 19 or 20, would we? I've had the fortune to visit Egypt. I retired from full-time work in 1996, and the first thing I did was a cruise down the Nile. And you were just telling me about you love all the greenery that you see here, but what struck me was how much greenery there is near to the river, because of course of the availability of the water. But also, why I think it's important for students to mix and visit other places, we can all learn so much from the way other people live. And what we have to remember, if you go to Egypt and you go to some of the wonderful places that you showed us, I went down to Abu Simbel and I found there were people building, there was engineering ability so long ago. Why haven't we learned as fast in this country? You also pointed out the differences in the way what we eat. I was very worried when I went to Egypt. I thought, oh, I've heard, you know there's an expression, Egyptian tummy. Have you not yet? I'm very worried. I needn't have worried. The food was, and I experienced a lot of Egyptian food, and I found it, as long as people use the right hygiene methods, and they do, you know, you have no need to fear. And so, as I say, I was very impressed, but also you learn from seeing things, if you like, what I call in the flesh. You learned a bit about England before you came to England. There must be some things that shook you and thought, oh, I didn't think it was quite like that. Well, I suppose when you go about, you seeing things for yourself. To me, one of the things that struck me going down the Nile, it was almost as if there's an imaginary line, and north of the line you would have one type of birds, and then when you go down to Abu Simbel, you're going into sub-Saharan Africa, and you see a different set. And I thought, well, how do the birds know not to cross that line? You know, so we can all learn so much by travel. And I think, you know, the fact that you come here, then some of the other students, because it seems to me the fact that you've got students from other places, it's very obvious that they're from other places, that they would have learned from you being here with them. So, as I say, I too learned about 30 odd years ago, I went and worked in the Far East, and you, by mixing with other people, seeing other ways of life, we can all learn for the better. And I think the most wonderful thing that you mentioned is the fact of how you greet each other. Peace be with you. And that, I think, is quite important, because the more students work together, the more likely we can avoid international conflict. Thank you so much for your presentation, and very much congratulations. Thank you.
Okay, we just want to give a very small, thank you, President, small in the word. And our presents don't really go very well with 18, 19-year-old students, so we can try. Okay? It's over. Well, some refreshments over there. Please help yourselves, get a drink. And if you want to talk formally and ask any questions in a less formal